This is where the fun begins.
Someone asked me to give the best reason why someone should read the Expanded Universe. After giving it a lot of thought, here's what I have to say. The Expanded Universe respects the reader. In the Expanded Universe, Luke Skywalker's optimism continues where it left off in Return of the Jedi. He's fulfilled hope to the galaxy just like Obi-Wan said he would, not like the Disney movies where he gave up on the Jedi or even the whole galaxy for that matter. The character you see in those movies is not Luke. Luke isn't a quitter. He's not a pessimist. He's a leader. He's inspirational. And he's always there for his friends in times of need. Another character is Han Solo. He's introduced to us in A New Hope as a loner, a man who cares only for himself and nobody else. But by the end of Return of the Jedi, that all turns around when he finally finds friends he can trust and a true love to spend the rest of his life with. And that's exactly what he does in the Expanded Universe. Han is a devoted husband and father to Leia and their kids. He loves his family above all else. In the new movies, Han turns out to be a selfish deadbeat dad who ran out on his family when things get tough. It's a complete 180 from the character that we saw from Return of the Jedi. Now, another thing the EU does is it rewards its readers. Attention to detail when it comes to continuity has never been done at such a level as when it was performed by the Expanded Universe. Avid readers will constantly be rewarded for their diligence as comics, novels, video games, and even children's books share connections throughout the entire series, making it almost a flawless, continuous story. And though it has its minor flaws, it's still the best overall story and continuity out there, period. That's what the EU does. It respects and rewards its readers. And that's the best reason you should give it a try. Long live the Expanded Universe.
Long live the Expanded Universe. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special edition of one of my live streams, the Talking EU, Talking Expanded Universe. And no, it's never been gone. It's just been put in the back burner for a while. And so this is my second interview since I put it on the back burner. Now we brought it towards the front so we can start cooking again, eh? And you guys are all anticipating Star Wars Skran. So here we go. Thank you guys for coming in. And I will be saying hello to everyone as I pull him in as well. So let's say a friendly hello to Star Wars Skran. How are you doing?
Hello, everyone. Doing okay? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here and accepting this interview here. You know, people call this the hot seat, you know, because I know how you got into Star Wars and all of that. But I also do a little bit of quiz. It's just for the fun, shits and giggles, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, as always, I like to interact with the chat. So this is funny. Boo, got me modding on a Monday. Boo, and he's laughing. Yeah, like you would not miss this at all. You would not miss this at all.
Best mod in the business.
Mm-hmm. And we got Pierce, we got Bane coming up tonight. So you guys make sure you go and check that out on Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm talking to myself 30 minutes early. Definitely the definition of insanity, or just another Monday for your buddy Soul. I mean, I've always questioned your sanity, Soul Assassin, but you know, hey, I like the crazy, right? I like the crazy. You guys make me laugh, you know. So, and then of course, Skran, there you are. You guys are both hanging out together.
We have to humor him. He does his job well.
He does. He certainly does. And then Skran and the Boogeyman by Nazo. Hello, Nazo. How are you doing? Thank you for tuning in. And then, of course, our Soul Assassin doing his business. And we have CJ here. Hello to you. Diddly Squat. Yo. What's up, Diddley? And it says, why reading the expanding universe? Because it's written by competent writers. I agree. I agree. And then the cannibal, the dragon, hello, or cannibal, is that what yeah, that's what it says. I was gonna say cannabis, like, you know, like a dragon getting high. And then yes, right, the bong bong, there we go. All right, so Skran, thank you for allowing me to do this interview with you. And
thank you for asking me.
Yeah, and I would like to have you maybe tell a little bit about yourself, maybe a little bit about your channel, starting up a Star Wars type channel, and maybe your name, your name handle too. Maybe give us a little bit.
All right, sure. So the channel, the name, first of all, Skran, here in Scotland, if you're getting Skran, it means you're hungry, you're getting something to eat, right? And if you actively eat something really fast, you Skran it. So there's that. So the idea was to sort of explain Star Wars explain, right? Explain Star Wars away, but kind of, I guess, feed the lore to people in a way. With the added aspect of me kind of coming into it fresh and sharing what I learn with people to get them into the true lore of Star Wars.
Awesome. Yeah, I kind of got that gist and stuff, but sometimes when people don't know cultural slang from different parts of the world, they're like, okay, Skran, okay. But a lot of people probably know, but just to give an insight of name, like my name, OG Star Wars, you could say OG, like original, like OG. Hey, what's up, OG? But also originally George's Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly.
Play a name, like have a play on my handle name, OG. Original Star Wars or originally George's Star Wars, and that's what this channel is all about, is originally Star Wars. Yeah,
I just want to say, like, I couldn't explain the origin of my channel without saying that, like, channels like OG Star Wars, like specifically OG Star Wars, and then channels like Matt Wilkins, and then Open Airlock, which is now United Spacers Alliance, those sort of channels that really inspired me to actually make content and share the lore with people.
Yeah, thank you so much for jumping on board and wanting to share and continue to bring this out in front and center to people to celebrate George Lucas' era of Star Wars. We need more people like you as well. So what is the first movie out of the 6 George Lucas movies? What is the first movie you watched?
I was 4 years old and I saw Return of the Jedi. I think I've told this story before. I look younger than I am. I mean, I'm 30 now. So I was 4 years old, but we're still using VHS. A lot of our tapes were recorded off of TV. So we had the Return of the Jedi on this VHS recording. It was really bad quality. You could see where my dad had like stopped and paused for commercials and stuff like that. It kind of jumped and skipped. And so like every day before school, we would sit down in the living room and me and my brother and we'd watch Return of the Jedi. So that movie's really had a big impact on me.
Okay.
And it's still like a comfort. It's not my favorite Star Wars movie, but it's like, but not. I mean, it's up there, but it's definitely my Star Wars like comfort movie. I can put it on any time and just feel good.
You 30? I hate you already. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Oops, all right. And then it says, what do you think about Disney stealing the titles of the EU?
What do I think about that?
It could be any one of us. I was going to show this later on, but I clicked on it, so it's too late now. I was going to wait.
I think it just goes to show their uncreativity. Like, I always talk about how they specifically stated that they wanted maximum creative freedom, yet all they've done for over a decade is take from the stuff that they claim isn't that good. You know?
Yeah. There's so many appropriation, I guess you could say, of these names where, and I think you might have heard me speak it on Calf Chat, is that I think they're applying the Mandela effect of it slowly being erased in the minds of our generation. And as soon as we start leaving, or my generation and then your generation, as soon as we start leaving then the generations coming up will not even recognize what was really George's EU versus the names they used to appropriate for their material.
Yeah, and even like you were talking about on your stream about even researching this stuff. It's really, you have to really dig deep to find it, because they're drowning it out, and I think that's their goal.
Yeah. But we're not here specifically to talk about all of this. I wouldn't say it's controversy. I think it's the actual factual information that needs to be discussed and researched and being talked about. But we're not necessarily here to talk about that. So
we're here to talk about the good stuff. We spend enough time talking about that. Yeah.
Exactly. Over here, George Lucas era, and basically Skran and how he got involved, his origins of Star Wars, what got him into Star Wars, all of that. So with that being said, what was your first what is your favorite trilogy?
My favorite trilogy, I'd have to say the original trilogy.
Okay, and why?
I just think it really, I think it holds up really well, and it's like without the original trilogy, we wouldn't have things like the prequels. We wouldn't have all this amazing material to read, and I think George just really struck gold with it, and just everything that about the original trilogy you can look at and you can take something from it. And specifically, I know Nerd Amigos last talking to you talked about the mythology of Star Wars, and that's something that means a lot to me as well, and I try to apply in my like day-to-day life as well.
Yeah.
So I take a lot from that, and I mean, I grew up in the prequel era, but the original trilogy is what I was watching all the time, and it's just a lot of the visuals I get from Star Wars come from the original trilogy, and just still give me goosebumps when I think about it.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more, because you mentioned the mythos that George created. So do you want to talk a little bit more about that? Like, what fascinates you about his mythos and how he orchestrated the Star Wars universe, in your own words, like what you see, noticed, feel?
For me, it's more to do with like the characters, specifically Luke Skywalker, and how he's kind of like the symbolism of like good, and you can aspire to be like Luke Skywalker. You don't always get it right, but you always like evil might succeed, but good tries nonetheless, kind of thing. Like you always want to try and do the right thing, like Luke Skywalker. And then I think that's partly why I got into the EU, is how the Disney treated his character, which was a complete 180 from what I knew just from the movies,
Okay. Yeah. George, like we all know that he used a lot of I want to say modern influence, because that's not even the right path I'm going. But he used a lot of influence from when he was growing up and what he's seen, and he turned them into themes and used them and stripped them down to bear to where it doesn't matter what generation you're in, you will be able to relate.
Yeah, it's timeless. That's what's really amazing about it. It's timeless.
Yeah. Timeless work by George Lucas. So, like the relating, the politics of Star Wars is it's not ours. I wouldn't say necessarily, it's not ours. It is strictly the, Star Wars origins type politics, mythos, world building, experiences and stuff like that is us viewing into a galaxy far, far away. And as you said, the escapism.
Yeah, that's a big part of it as well.
Yeah. So with that being said, what is your favorite Star Wars movie?
It has to be the Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
And
why?
I just liked how I watched them out of order. So I watched Return of the Jedi, then A New Hope, and then Empire. And I always loved basically being a child. It was like the lightsaber battle at the end with Luke and Vader. I thought it was epic, and I love how it was the first movie I remember ever seeing where it kind of had like a sad ending, and it just had a really big impact on me.
It's like very melancholy, like a little bit of, you see a little bit of hope. That's what
exactly.
But, a little bit of hope of aspiring to finding a friend and realizing that they were backed up in the corner by the Empire and barely got out with their lives.
And being EU fans, we talk a lot about lore, and I feel like Empire really brought a lot of lore to Star Wars. Like I mean, it's arguably a better movie than A New Hope, and it expands the Star Wars universe and what it shows you.
Wow. So arguably, or it could be a little bit better than A New Hope. That's kind of wild to hear, but then I get it too, because we get the second part of the continuation of The New Hope and our original Star Wars.
Or I mean, it's arguably the best sequel ever made. Sequels usually aren't that good.
Yeah. Exactly.
Maybe as like a singular movie, A New Hope is a better movie. I'd have to think about that maybe.
Oh no, I'm not trying to change your mind or anything like that. I just find
I'm just thinking, maybe my terminology might not have been correct.
That's okay, because if you think it's better, that's fine. It's set it up. It's
my favorite movie. It's probably my favorite movie of all time.
What, Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. And how did you feel when you first seen Empire Strikes Back? How did it make you feel? Like, because there's so much going on, from the direness of rescuing, or the direness of escaping off of Hoth, and then also with like when Han Solo gets encased in carbonite, and all that drama.
I mean, I was still pretty young when I saw it, so I remember I think it was actually the special edition VHS that my brother had, because I remember at the beginning it had George Lucas talking about the movie. So you'd get to listen to George talk about Empire, and then I just remember my brother being like, "Oh, this movie is gross. Like, Luke kisses his sister." I was like, "What?" And then so visually, it's Hoth. When I think about Empire, I think about Hoth, and then I think about Dagobah, the kind of sludgy, like, meeting Yoda for the first time. And then I get a lot of people slag Bespin a lot. A lot of people find Empire kind of boring towards the end, but I love all the stuff on Bespin. And then obviously I was talking about the lightsaber duel between Vader and Luke, and I love the idea that Vader could take Luke out instantly, but he's kind of just playing along and then just toying with him and stuff like that. I really enjoy that a lot.
Yeah. And so SWA says, Skran, when are we getting OG Star Wars sabers?
Getting our sabers? Oh, we'll need to talk about that behind the scenes.
And thank you so much for that member chat, SWA.
A little paintbrush will pop out the bottom of the hilt and you can use it.
I'll paint you to death.
Paint you to death, yeah.
Oh, and I don't know what this whoa spoilers is about, because if we're talking Star Wars, this has all been out for a very long time. So I don't know.
Have you never seen Empire? Darth Vader's Luke's father. Big reveal.
Yeah. Let's see here. So, hello, how are you doing? So, okay. What is your favorite lightsaber duel? It could be movie wise for right now. Pretty soon.
I was thinking about that earlier. I want to say the one on Bespin, but oh, that's tricky. They're so good. They're all good for different reasons, aren't they?
Which one captivates you the most?
I'm going to have to be boring and say Empire, between Luke and Vader.
You're stuck on Empire, aren't you?
It's what's at stake, and it comes like, obviously I love Return of the Jedi for the fact that Luke throws down his saber and he's got that you've got that moral lesson there. But Empire is more like he was prepared. I mean, in both cases, he was prepared to die. But Empire, instead of turning to the dark side, he's just like, right, see you later, and just jumps off the ledge. You know, I blew my mind when I saw that the first time.
That was the first glimpse of his morality, of him rather staying on the light side, I guess you could say, versus going against his own morality and stuff like that. Because, in even in real life, we are faced with decisions, and whether they're good or bad or whatever, but it all goes down to what are your morals and what are you willing to sacrifice yourself for?
Yeah, and I think that's why I gravitate towards Luke. I think it's one of those characters that you kind of grow up with, and you can think like, what would Luke do in this situation?
Yeah. And Soul Assassin,
usually.
Sorry. Soul Assassin says Yoda versus R2D2 on Dagobah is the best duel. No, mine.
I always liked the look of Luke's little packed lunch that he had.
Oh yeah.
Luke, I wanted to scran that.
I haven't had a chance to, but I always thought about pausing or finding an image of it, like if there's a screenshot of it or a picture of it, to see exactly what's in there, because when you look at it, it looks like there's Tic Tacs in there and stuff like that. Like they just threw stuff in there to make it look like it's a thing of food or whatever. So
yeah.
Oh my goodness. So with that being said, let's go on and move on. So who is your favorite movie character and why?
It always.
And this is just the movies. It could be any character. It doesn't have to just be in the OT. It could be someone from the PT.
I'd say young Obi-Wan Kenobi is my favorite character.
Okay.
I like how charismatic he is, and I like how he kind of takes this burden upon himself to look after Luke Skywalker after his Padawans turn to the dark side. I always like characters that aren't necessarily the main character, but they serve a higher purpose than themselves. Kind of like Samwise Gamgee in the Lord of the Rings, how he kind of helps Frodo on his journey. I like how Obi-Wan's kind of like the sidekick, but really important to the story.
Yeah. Obi-Wan is very, very unique. Just when you get a chance to read back, in like Jedi Apprentice and all this other stuff, is his character growing up and what happened to him and how he almost not became a Jedi. So
I've heard about that, and I've been reading the Revenge of the Sith novelization, and Obi-Wan doesn't see himself as like a good Jedi either. He doesn't understand why he's held in such high regard and stuff like that.
Yeah, he was always doubting himself, and and we could, as fans, we could debate like Obi-Wan is one of the truer models of Jedi, of like how they should be depicted and stuff, and he's like being humble, like I don't think I am. I make all these mistakes and I do this and that, and so I guess you could say there's a sense of like humility in him.
And another reason is that Ewan McGregor, he's obviously a Scotsman as well, so it was kind of cool being a kid seeing like a Scottish person in Star Wars. I don't know why, like I can see myself on the screen,
Oh no, you're not going there. Oh, I have to see someone I have to see myself in these characters. I just
thought it was. I didn't realize people from Scotland did cool stuff like that. So yeah, I thought that was pretty neat.
So I love it when my mod turns into a troll as well and says like Lunchables in space and R2D2 versus Yoda. And then he said, and I didn't highlight it, I forgot to, I meant to. Let me see, I'm going to scroll all the way up in the chat. Here's another major troll. Guys, we need OG to paint a Kylo Ren picture. Have it with the Disney Death Star in the background. She likes a challenge. I'm not taking that challenge. I'm not. No. No, thank you, sir. If I did, that would be a gift to you, Soul Assassin. A gift that I'd charge you to, because I'd be wasting paint on that.
He can keep the original on that one. Just take it.
And he says, laugh out loud, Scots are Jedi Masters too. You mean the model Jedi is not Ahsoka? Yeah.
What is that?
Ahsoka what? No.
Ahsoka who?
Ahsoka who? And then Disney, Anakin blow up the Death Star. Oh, that's right. I almost forgot about that.
That's mental.
Very much. So how did the movies, and you can think about both trilogies, PT and OT, but how did the movies resonate with you growing up as you watched them? And that's including the PT.
How do you mean by resonate?
Like, how did it make you feel? Like, your experience with them. You can give like in general, like all the 6 movies together. Once you already had a chance to piece them all together, see them all.
Well, I hear a lot of people talk about how like George Lucas ruined my childhood, and like I feel like George Lucas made my childhood, and that's a lot. I've talked about this before as well. Like a lot, I have like memories from being pretty young, and it's purely because of Star Wars and seeing specifically like Phantom Menace merchandise everywhere. And just it gives me a really good feeling when I think about that stuff, and being able to kind of experience the prequels coming out, like growing up. Yeah, it was incredible. Really awesome.
Yeah. And during that time, were you even curious about like any other material under Star Wars, like comics or novels or anything like that?
So
or were you very casual during the time? No.
I mean, yeah, like, I won't lie. Like I probably considered myself a huge Star Wars fan. Like like I'm making excuses for myself here. Like the expanded universe over here, from my experience, it wasn't everywhere. Like when I went out to, like, I didn't get a lot of stuff like brand new. It was usually like hand-me-downs or like secondhand stuff. So whenever I'd see something like anything Star Wars, I would just get it. Pardon me. And a lot of the time it was like annuals or like junior novel versions of the movies or like sticker, but it was just like I was just a little kid that had Star Wars. I just wanted it. But when it comes to like expanded universe material, because I was thinking about that as well, I'd say my earliest expanded universe experience would probably be where'd I put them? I sat them somewhere. The O2 Clone Wars series. So I remember these coming on Cartoon Network when I was a kid, because we didn't have good channels at home. I had to go to my grandparents' house and they had Cartoon Network.
Okay.
And you could watch the couple-minute Clone Wars episodes that would come out, and seeing the Jedi like that just blew my mind, like honestly. And it's not like when you compare this to Filoni TCW, you can remember maybe the Mortis arc, right? Whatever, Ahsoka. I can like visualize like probably 80% of this series in my head. Just absolute masterclass in storytelling. These amazing.
Right.
And then apart from that, my earliest expanded universe material would be this essential character guide.
Oh, nice.
So I had this, so yeah, it's got like Naomi's what's her name? Is it Dark? No, it's not Dark Later. It's whatever. And then fake fan. But it's got stuff like Thrawn. It's got Tenennial Joe from Courtship of Princess Leia. So I would look through this and I'd read all these little inserts about these stories I'd never read. And then you've got these other ones. Which one is it? Yeah, so I'm seeing all these characters that aren't in the movies, and I'm like, what are these? And it didn't quite click what it was. But some of these other ones have like timelines, like Star Wars timelines in them. And it includes like Heir of the Empire up till about like 1997. Yeah. And so that's when I started kind of realizing there was more Star Wars out there.
Yeah.
But I've never been like a good reader. Like I've only had glasses for about a year, and it was because I wanted to start reading the novels, and I sat it somewhere so I could show it off, because everyone knows this is my favorite. I was in a bookstore a couple of years ago, and they never have like expanded universe material. You'll maybe get like a couple legends books, but on the very bottom shelf they had this like paperback version of Labyrinth of Evil, and I saw it and I was like, I'm wanting to get into this stuff. I'll just get it. And for anyone that knows, it's the must-read prequel to Revenge of the Sith.
Right.
And I knew a little bit about how it was to do with Cato Nemoidia and stuff like that. And then I learned a bit about how Lucino asked questions about Grievous, and he was commissioned to write the book and stuff like that. And then it's finally started to click that this stuff was part of the story, you know?
Yeah. Wow. So with that, what got you into the EU? So what really opened that door for you for the EU? Like for me, it was wanting to know more about Luke Skywalker and what happened with the big three. That's what got me to the EU.
So for me, it was obviously I loved George's movies. Force Unleashed, that was another one I used to like. I didn't realize that was canonical either. I just thought it was a fun game or whatever. So I liked George's movies. I liked some of the games, and then the Force Awakens comes out. So I was all hyped for this new Star Wars movie. Like, not being into EU, I was like, oh, this is amazing. They're making more Star Wars. And then I saw the announcement that they were relegating it all to like Legends or whatever, but that's not what I heard. What I heard was they were basically all the expanded universe novels don't count anymore. And to me it was a bit like, right, that's a bit weird. So like that means that they counted at some point, you know? So all this stuff was starting to click. And then and then the movie, like, they killed Han Solo in like the weirdest way possible. And then I remember like being in the theater and just being like, did that just happen? And then like trying to convince myself that it was a good movie. And then a year later, the next one comes out and they completely subverted it. They ruined Luke Skywalker. And then I remember coming out of the theater and my friends asking me, like, these are other guys I considered big Star Wars fans. And they're like, oh, did you like it? Did you like it? It was amazing, eh? And I was like, no, I didn't. No, I don't think I liked it at all. I was like, that was horrible.
Yeah.
And then I was on like YouTube trying to like understand why I hated this movie. I'm a bit more articulate these days, but back then I was like, why can't I put into words why I hate this movie? And I found like people kind of explain it, and then a lot of it was because I was exposing myself here. I was a fan of Star Wars Theory's channel because I thought that he knew what he was talking about.
Wow, you had bad taste, didn't you?
Yeah, and then I saw Darth Melvin exposing him for stuff, and then I was like, that's true. He does say daft things like that. So I got out of I stopped watching Star Wars Theory, and then through Melvin I found United Spacers Alliance, and then through him I found Matt Wilkins, and then I joined Twitter and I saw it was OG Star Wars was defending the EU, and I thought it was so cool, like how you would like combat people so like effortlessly, and it really made me want to like do my research. And like before I even read like a sentence of EU material, I kind of went into how the EU operated, and I learned a lot about that and like the Keeper of the Holocron and all that stuff. Getting it in my head that this stuff really did matter to the continuity, and these stories from what I'm seeing are faithful to George's vision. And George had a lot of approval in that stuff, you know, contributions, and he utilized it in the movies, and I'm learning more about that all the time. So it was kind of how I got into it.
Okay. Yeah, there's like so many. It's amazing to hear everybody's origin stories for Star Wars in general, and then into the EU, whether it's from the beginning when they were little and they want to know more, or how Disney thrusted them into wanting to learn more about George Lucas era because of the disconnect from the Disney trilogy.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a combination of both. there's people who are what we say fence riders who want to be able to like both sides,
Yeah.
of this thing here, and that's fine. So be it. You're gonna like what you like or whatever, but still, the mission here is to keep the origins of Star Wars alive, and that's George Lucas's era. I'm gonna get this member chat here. The only solo we search for is the sword herself. Oh, Jaina, the sword of the Jedi. And then SWA, thank you so much for Grand Team gifting 5 OG Star Wars memberships. Whoever received them, thank you so much for gifting them out. And you guys have a bunch of emojis to play with, use while we are live or when you comment on my channel. And then Melissa Lord, channel members here, what's up? Yeah, everybody, see people hopping on. So if I didn't say hello and I didn't share your hello to us, I'm sorry. I'm not ignoring. We are just sitting here with Star Wars Skran and learning all about who he is through Star Wars and what lights him up about Star Wars. Let's see here. Click out of here. There we go. All right. So what is your first EU book that you read? That would be
my first EU book was The Labyrinth of Evil.
Yeah, I figured that much after you showed that, but I just wanted to ask anyways. And how did that, how was that for you, reading that?
The first thing I noticed was the dialogue between Obi-Wan and Anakin, and how well that was done. Like, they were very in character for me, and it was really cool for me to see Anakin. Like, Lucino's writing, he's like simultaneously descriptive yet simplistic, and it's hard to explain, but he does it in a really cool way that you can visualize everything. And I know he's explained that himself, how he tries to make it more cinematic, and I definitely got that from that novel. It was very cinematic, so for that reason I feel like it's a good book to begin with.
Yeah,
because it's not too far removed from the movies either. It's just before Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. Some people will highly recommend certain starting points, like the Thrawn trilogy for oh, my yard's being worked on. Do you hear that? My yard's being worked on. But some people will recommend the Thrawn trilogy for the first ever inception into the EU for people, especially if they never set foot in it, which I think is good because he hit a home run with that. But I also think that it's overrated in a bit. But that's just me.
I've come to that conclusion more recently.
How so?
I definitely feel like it's overrated in terms of that's all people seem to know, or it's all they've heard of. I mean, it's maybe not fair to say the story's overrated, but I'm glad I didn't start with that book. I think science fiction novels back in the early 90s were stylistically they're written a bit different, and it's maybe a bit more advanced. Not advanced, but for me it was a little bit more of a struggle to read. But that might just be me. Yeah.
I mean, everybody has, what they like, they don't like. Something hit harder than the other.
Don't get me wrong, I loved it. I loved Dark Force Rising, the second one. That's my favorite one in the trilogy.
Yeah. Let me go close my front door. So I'm going to play a little clip here. We have our front door open, so it's really going for it out there. Let me see here. Let's play. Since we are doing the new Jedi Order Renaissance, let's play this.
I had fought the worst of all wars and witnessed the redemption of evil. I have seen balance restored to the Force. But order can turn to chaos, as it did when I was born. Now, with my loved ones and my loyal allies, I face a new challenge unlike any before. And I'm not sure at this time we can win.
Star Wars Vector Prime by R.A. Salvatore, the first novel of the new Jedi Order.
All right, just in time.
It sounded like it. Rushing back to the computer.
You hear my shoes. And I'm wearing boots, like dress shoes or whatever, so that was funny. All right. Oh my goodness. I hope I make everybody laugh because that's what this is all about too. All right. So, do you have any favorite games, comics, novels, what have you? Like, what are your favorites in the EU? Like novel games experiences?
Out of what I've consumed, I'd say Labyrinth of Evil's my favorite, and I think that's mainly for sentimental reasons. It was the first one, and also maybe a less common one would be the Courtship of Princess Leia. That's my second favorite novel. And game wise, well, comic wise, more recently I read the first 50 issues of Legacy, and I can hands down say that's probably, well, it is some of the best Star Wars I've ever read in my life. It's amazing.
Yeah. Let me get the super chat. $2 super chat by Brian. She's I'm renaming you. I'm sorry. My first EU book, Marvel 1978 through 1989 era comics. Oh, all the classic Marvels. Nice. All right, let's see here. Let me go ahead and take this off screen. All right. So who's your favorite EU character?
Ooh, within the EU, I this isn't I've got more, but I'll start with a cop out, which is Princess Leia. Within the EU, the way her character progresses to the point where you get to see her channeling like her force abilities and wielding a lightsaber and stuff like that, I think that's awesome. Really cool to see.
Yeah.
I really like Leia's character, even in the New Jedi Order when she's not as prevalent. I love when she has scenes. And apart from her, I've really grown to like through the Dark Tide duology, Corran Horn as a character. He's one of my new favorites.
Okay.
And not just because he has a cool lightsaber, but I think he's a really great character. And Jason Solo, definitely out of the Solo children, he's my favorite. And then obviously you might have seen from the thumbnail, Cade Skywalker from the Legacy comics.
Yeah. And when I set up my interviews, I'll ask who is your favorite EU character, because I do have fun little things we do in the interview, which we're coming up right now. Perfect segue to that. And so movie character, he told me it was Obi-Wan, and then EU character was Cade Skywalker, so that's why he's on the thumbnail. Kind of gives it away. The thumbnail kind of gives it away, but still, sometimes I can shift in favorite characters depending on what I'm going through when I'm reading something. And but that just is a test to how well the EU has been written. Because if you get involved with the characters that they're showing you in the era that you're reading, you can't help but like want to know. Even with bad guys, there's always a bad guy. Maybe I should ask, who's your favorite good guy? Who's your favorite bad guy? Because you're always going to have a favorite villain. It doesn't mean that you are like adhering to their type of theme of like fascism and stuff like that. That's like Disney Star Wars fans like to make you feel like if you like Vader, oh no, you're bad. You're a bad person like Vader. No, it just means that you have a favorite villain because the villain or the hero is only as strong as the villain is. The villain sets up the whole tone.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Hero.
I agree with that.
So if you have a weak villain and they're not relatable, I'm gonna say relatable, if they're not liked or you're not enthused by them, I'm like, what are they gonna do next? Or they scare the shit out of me, but I want to know what's going on.
My
you're
favorite
story for the hero.
Yeah, I completely agree. My favorite villain is Oren Galt from the Kenobi novel.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay, Oren Galt, huh?
I thought.
Go ahead. Go.
Like spoiler alert, people. You should go read the Kenobi novel. I'll just say the ending of his story was amazing, and it obviously mirrored Anakin's demise, if you know what I mean. So
yeah,
I thought he was a really good villain.
Oh yeah, because he kind of reminded me in a way of a grassroots type Palpatine because he orchestrated a lot of things to get his way. Like he
Yeah, that's right. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah, he orchestrated that settlers call, and then from there, to keep his funding, he orchestrated these fake raids so that people can still buy from him. So kind of similar tactics in the sense of keeping people in line and under your control in a way to, you know, and stuff for your business and stuff like that. And he's his demise, his ending is crazy too in that book. So those who haven't read it, I would highly recommend it. It is your classic Western Star Wars. You know how Filoni's like, oh, we have the Mandalorian because we wanted to go Western Star Wars. No, this is the book that gives you the classic Western style Star Wars, as you can say. And then you get the demeanor of Obi-Wan on dealing with the fall of the galaxy and the fall of the Jedi. All of that. So it's worth reading, unless you're Greg or Tim or something like that. It's worth your reading, you know. Oh my goodness. So with that being said, let's get into a quiz.
Oh no.
Your first quiz. So drum roll here. I'm gonna pull up my media assets because I want to play.
This is where you find out Skran's a noob. So we'll do our best.
Skran's a noob. Well, I mean, I even did this on Matt Wilkins when I had Talking EU with him, and he still didn't get his quiz about Kip Duran. So, when was Kate Skywalker born?
When?
Oh
no. I know the series. I know the comics are set 125 years after the. Is it the start of the Vong invasion or the end of it? I couldn't put a year on it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie.
It's okay. Yeah, it's okay because some people don't keep track of their favorite characters' birth years and stuff like that. Before 130 ABY.
Okay.
Yeah. So before then. So let's play this one right here.
You rebel scum.
I was gonna play this if you got it right. You know, because on Twitter right now, someone's throwing around the stupid fans are racist because they hate black people thing again. So that is being piped around right now too. Yes, and on that. So
it's news to me.
Yeah, I know. It's like, so I had to set some records straight on that as well. Let me see the chat. I know people were asking questions or at least participating. Let's see here. Without a good villain, you don't really have a good story. Yeah, Jonathan Freeman. Yes. That's the thing. You don't have a good story. You don't have a good arc for your hero. You don't feel, scared for your hero. And if they're going to make it out alive or dead or what have you, you don't have any of those stakes if your hero or your villain is not worth anything. So what is this? Oh, Star Wars loves the baby Yoda Grogu. Nope. Not here. And in fact, I think this is where this applies. Where did it go? I'm not used to play these clips.
You rebel scum.
All right, let's see here. And all right. So is there any EU content not your favorite? So from what you read so far, is there something that's not your favorite? And why?
I mean, out of what I've read, I'm gonna get slagged for saying this. The Shadow of the Empire was actually it was good, but I didn't like the writing style.
Okay, so Shatterpoint was better than Shadow.
I'll take that back. Shatterpoint. There's nothing wrong with Shatterpoint. It was just 4.5 out of 10.
And so what is Shadow of the Empire for you then?
I put it at maybe a 6.5.
Okay.
I mean I liked it a lot. I find I tend to compare them to the better stories I've read. So It's kind of like how I would rank Attack of the Clones last, but it doesn't mean I hate it. It's just my least favorite, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So Shadows of the Empire is awesome, but I don't rank it as high as like Onslaught or Labyrinth of Evil or something like that, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So with Shatterpoint, so we'll just go both with Shatterpoint and Shadows of the Empire, just to talk between the two, from one being under average and one being just slightly over average compared to what you read so far. So Shatterpoint. What was one of the major falls for you for the how it was scored so low?
It was it's a weird thing because it's one of its biggest strengths is also its weakness. So like
Mm-hmm.
Matthew Stover's writing is so descriptive, so like poetic, but I felt like the chapters are so long and it's like it's a lot of time. It's like a lot of time elaborating on things that don't really push the story forward. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a lot of lore building for this planet that I don't really care about. I just kind
Yeah.
of wanted Mace Windu to find his apprentice, to kill the bad guy, and get back to Coruscant. You know.
Mm-hmm. Too much lingering on a planet that really didn't seem to have any substance afterwards, really.
Yeah, was it Harun Kal? Is that the planet they're on?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the story was. I liked how it was kind of like, you know, apocalypse now, like war torn planet, and it's like it's like the beginning of the Clone Wars, and Mace Windu's dealing with like his dark side tendencies. His like journal entries, amazing. I loved those.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, one of the weaker EU books I've read.
Yeah, and it's kind of remnants into like even Kenobi, because we don't get necessarily journal entries other than like
The meditations.
well, I would say there are meditations and talking with Qui-Gon, and also contemplations kind of deal. So we get those versus that, but it's always nice to hear what's going on in the mind of the character during the time that an experience they're going through. It gets you get a little bit more into their heads, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a bit of a moot point, but like in Shatterpoint, there's a lot of like creatures and like weapons that have like really confusing names, but you use it like, yet you're constantly having to try and like. I mean, I guess it was worse for me because I was doing it live and trying to like actually speak the words.
Yeah.
So like I was constantly trying to pronounce these words over and over. A bit of a trudge, but I don't want to like trash any EU material. It was just the weakest of what I've read. It was still really good.
Well, that's fine. I mean, it's not trashing. It just means that it's not one of the most anticipated ones you've read so far. And where there's always going to be that. And I know you're participating in the New Jedi Order Renaissance reread.
They're all amazing. They're
so
good.
far, like I said, that was my point. I was going to get there's a lot more books that are great in that one. However, there are the few slow books in there too. And necessarily, you probably haven't got to that far yet. And so you're going to discover, okay, this one is a bit slower, had a hard time getting through some of these scenes or whatever. I mean, and stuff like that. But to all fairness, you know, it still has some, it still has tie-ins, continuity and stuff there, you know, so yeah. So you're going to experience some New Jedi Order stuff that are probably not going to be your favorite either. Are going to be the slower versions of what you have been reading so far, and you're like, what were they thinking for this one? Yeah. So
it's over 20 books, dude. It's gonna take so long.
I can't stand it. No, but like for Vector Prime, just saying that for Vector Prime, I cannot fathom like how someone can say that they couldn't get through that book or that audible. I don't know. I don't understand how that, because that really sets up the beginning of the Vong invasion and stuff and what's really going on, and really sets the fear of the Vong for what happens to some of the characters in there. So
And it sets up a lot of the EU character, like it sets up a lot of the EU characters like Jaina and stuff like that, and Mara Jade like right away, and gets you to start caring about these characters immediately.
And how
really
Carr like ruthlessly kills the scientists and stuff. Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's crazy. I mean,
Oh,
so
he's a good villain as well, Yeoman Carr. Yeah.
Yep, he is. He is. And so let's go to the Shadows of the Empire. So you like the story, but the writing style was not what you cared for.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How would I explain it?
Take your time. You're good.
Yeah, just the writing style. I mean, so it's not like with someone like Lucino, I can just turn the page and it just flows off the tongue, you know.
Mhm.
And with that book, although I really enjoyed, to be honest, with Shadows of the Empire, I more enjoyed researching the multimedia project in general than the actual
Mhm.
story itself, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of cool stuff in there though. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, and I think that there's a couple other people I know that I've talked to that thought the writing style was a little slow, and I guess you could say,
Yeah,
and stuff like that from Perry. But I enjoyed it myself. So, but yeah, so there's a hit and miss with that here with the writing style, or at least the pace of it. But it's still a great story to get into. I do highly recommend if you can get onto the unabridged audible or whatever to do that. The abridged audible is good because it has its own soundtrack, its score that has been
all right, cool.
yeah, and stuff like that, but it is abridged, so that's the only thing. So I only recommend audibles that are abridged if you read the story already. So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
fair enough.
yes, Zjor is a great villain. I agree. And then so Soul Assassin says, OG Star Wars, Pierce wants to know your Shadows of the Empire's rating. Oh, he must have. That is a 7.5 for me. So it's maybe like 10 above yours. 7.5. Almost, I would know, actually 7.75. It's almost an 8. 7.75. Yeah. 7.75. There's things that slow down in there for me that could have been again written a little bit better. But other than that, I love the story. I loved how it's a segue between Empire Strikes Back and
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith. And Revenge of the Sith is my favorite movie of all time in Star Wars. So I love the setup that it does.
I really liked the stuff between Shizor and Vader, how they're kind of back and forth. That was really cool.
Yeah.
And how the Emperor kind of knew Shizor's plan all along, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Now, I know we all have our likes and dislikes and stuff. So if anybody asked you, would you recommend Shatterpoint, what would you say as your own self? Like, would you share your experience with them, but say make your own opinion and still read it? What would you tell someone?
I would maybe say don't read it first. Maybe save it for a bit later.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd say like if you're a Mace Windu fan, maybe if you like, I'm not sure how to sell that to people. Go watch my playlist of the read through. That'll get you through it.
Okay, there you go. That will get you through it. Just go watch it on my channel. Yeah. All right. So let's see here. Do you have a favorite Star Wars species?
Species.
Yeah, species.
Ooh. I really like I think the Bith are pretty cool.
Uh-huh.
They're quite smart. And what are they called? There's so many. There's too many, guys. There's too many species.
I know. And so
My favorite species. Oh, that's a really tough question.
that's okay.
I think the Bith are really cool.
Mm-hmm. And
I like the jazz players from the canteen. The Bith.
Like one of your first exposures of them, huh? From the OTV, the Star Wars, original Star Wars. Yeah. So, and do you have a favorite? I'm going to ask it now. Do you have a favorite villain?
Favorite villain?
Yes.
I already mentioned Oren Galt.
Yeah.
I really like Count Dooku.
Oh, okay.
as a villain. I like how he's he's almost not a villain, but he most certainly is.
Yeah, exactly. He's one of those like grandpa figures that you think that you should sit there and mind to and listen to and stuff like that. But he's very manipulative too.
Yeah, definitely.
How he talked to Obi-Wan is like, you need to join me, and I'm telling you the truth. But then again, there's lies behind that. Just it's a way of manipulating him to try to make him go to the dark side. So that was very brilliant way of George doing that.
When I think of Star Wars villains, I think of Attack of the Clones, because you've got Sidious in the background, you've got Dooku, you've got Jango Fett, you've got all these amazing characters kind of going against our heroes there.
Mm-hmm. When you first seen Vader on screen, how did he make you feel?
Oh, I thought I wasn't scared. I thought he was cool.
Really? He's like, oh, that's a cool villain. I like him.
I thought he was really, really cool.
Huh, I wonder if you would have seen him under Empire Strikes Back first or in Star Wars first, because you've seen Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
So you have his redemption going on. So you're seeing the last of the arc. But if you would have seen him from the start, I wonder how that would have made you feel. Because
I already kind of understood that he was technically a good guy, I think. So
yeah, so you've seen him being redeemed versus as a full-on terror type villain, going in and tearing up, Tantive 4, looking for the plans and stuff like that. So you experienced him in a whole different way, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Definitely.
I wonder too then if that also resonated with you, resonated with you, like when you seen him as a full-on villain, if it made you feel sorry for him or made you more curious about how he fell before, because if you didn't read the novels, you wouldn't have an idea of like how he fell. Like the movie novels have a little bit of backstory, which George adhered towards the PT. So it probably made you feel a little bit more sorry for him and curious on how he felt.
I was more thinking like, why is he so eager to like get Luke to join him? Because I was like, I felt like he didn't want, like before I knew that he fully embraced the dark side and he did all this stuff to be like have all that power. I felt like he didn't really want to be there. Like he was under the emperor's influence and he was kind of held against his will, kind of thing. Like I didn't fully understand that, So I didn't understand why he wanted Luke to like join them.
Yeah. And then once you got into the Rule of Two, then you started understanding a little bit more about that arc and stuff like that. Yeah. So what do you think about the Skywalkers in general, the Skywalker family? Because you were exposed to them through Luke, Leia, and then Vader. And then later on, you got to learn more, about the twins, about the kids being born, and then going into Cade Skywalker. So what's your thoughts about the Skywalker family?
I like that they've got this kind of like, there's kind of like a stigma around their name, and they're kind of expected to be heroic, and they don't always feel like they can live up to it, kind of thing. But I really like the idea of the Skywalker name kind of going through the generations of Star Wars. And then Cade's one of my favorite characters, and he's kind of like the amalgamation of, he's taking literal death sticks to like turn off the Force. He doesn't want the responsibility. It's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah. Did you feel at any time that there was too many Skywalkers being introduced, or the story was getting too muddled with the Skywalker lineage playing big roles in the galaxy?
Well, no. I mean, you've got Anakin, Luke, and then I like how the EU did it via Leia. So you've got the Solos, So you've got Han and you've got Solo and Skywalker blood in them.
Yeah.
And it's not just like, oh, the next generation of Skywalker. It's kind of like they're not fully Skywalker. They've got a bit more in there to their personalities.
Yeah.
No, I don't think not at all.
Yeah, you're like, not at all. Yeah, because I mean, nowadays, you hear people saying, "Oh, we need to get away from the Skywalker family and the Skywalker saga," and blah blah blah. And it's a narrative that Disney's been playing to, and then now their fans are repeating it and stuff. But when we look back, even with you, but even myself and longtime EU fans or Star Wars fans that grew up reading and learning and knowing about this family, I don't think I've ever encountered anybody growing up saying that the Skywalkers are being overplayed or there's too much of them in the story and what have you. Everybody wanted to know what was going on with, Leia, Luke, when the twins are being born. How are they going to be raised? Is Luke going to, train him successfully? What's going on with Luke? And, will he ever get a wife or a love interest or have a kid? And how is he going to be there to build the Jedi? So everybody was really wrapped up in the continuation of what's going on in the galaxy, particularly with those entities as well. And it was pretty much staged really well to even include characters like Horn, for example. And I'll go to iJedi because it's kind of like his solo novel. Sharing characters like that and still having Luke in the picture, but not a prominent person. And so the authors did very well. And even with Anakin with the PT and Obi-Wan with the PT, we had all these other characters that the authors gave time and attention to, but they never had the qualm or the idea of, using these new characters to overshadow George's characters or make them less than and stuff like that we've seen nowadays in the modern Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a couple of things that came to mind when you were talking about that. So George said that Star Wars is like a family soap opera.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously you've got the father, the children, and the grandchildren. So that's how Star Wars kind of flows, and it works well because of that. You're following the story of these characters, and then you're talking about utilizing other characters, and I think the EU does a good job of not over utilizing main characters either. Like I just got finished reading Shadowhunter about Darth Maul, and the best parts of that book aren't even about Darth Maul. It's the side characters that get introduced that they actually elevate the main character.
Yeah, exactly. There's no this like thing of like our new characters have to foreshadow what George created. There was none of that. It was always about just the story and how are these characters going to interact with each other to make a cohesive storyline and stuff like that. So talking about Skywalker family, I got a next quiz answer or question for you. Who was Kay Skywalker's mom, or who is Kay Skywalker's mom?
She's that kind of bounty hunter. What's her name? She abandoned him when he was a child. Mm-hmm. I know his dad's called Skywalker.
Yeah. Say my name, say my name.
And his shipmate keeps flirting with her. Oh, what's her name? I was too busy looking at Talon and Delia Blue to notice. I'm sorry.
Hey, she's not a bad look either, so I don't know.
I mean, all the female characters in Legacy are quite stunning, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know Ostrander was really influenced by like James Bond, so like he likes to put like attractive female characters in his stories. Yeah. So.
And so the inking and the character design was also Ostrander, Jander Sima too, a female artist, a female artist at that. So what? A lot of people say, oh well, they make these women look like sexy characters for the male gaze and blah blah. Well, the artist is female, so now what do you have to say for yourself? So with that, her name is Morgan.
Remind me of her name, please.
Yeah, Morgan Cord.
That's it, Morgan. Yeah.
Morgan Cord. Yeah, and she's also part of the Imperial Remnant too.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. She's got this, she's like undercover, I guess you could say, as her true self. And then when she left Cole and Cade, she went into the remnant and under a new name and stuff like that. So it's very interesting. I would love to have gotten more of a backstory for her, like like what had happened. We know why she left, but more details why she left, why she changed her name, and then now Cade having a sister and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like Legacy's got like one thing I really liked about Legacy was a lot of those story elements that just they were kind of surprises, but they always made sense. It was so well written. It was amazing.
Yeah, it is. So what is your favorite about Legacy, like what you read with Kate Skywalker? What really hit with you on that?
I loved all the stuff with when it would bring in like Mara Jade, Anakin, Obi-Wan, all the Luke, even all these characters that would come and try and like twist his arm to like kind of be a Skywalker. And just all of Cade's like an internal stuff, and then you'd get these moments where he would just go like pure Raji. He'd be like raging, and he'd be like, "I'm not Jedi or Sith." He's like, "I'm out for myself," kind of thing. And there was just all these really epic moments where he would go up against like Darth Krayt or something like that, and just you just always knew he'd come out on top. He was just that. He was like really, really powerful.
He actually did.
Sorry, and all the stuff with Asherad Het, like discovering who Krayt was, and I got a big payoff with that having read Kenobi. It wasn't even through like the Republic comics; it was the Kenobi novel, learning about Asherad Het and stuff like that. So, the EU respects and rewards, as Matt Wilkins would say.
Right, exactly. So I don't know if you know much about Vistar Kai. But Soul Assassin, and I already gave my answer in the chat. Skran, where do you stand on Vistar being Kate Skywalker's ancestor? So you know about her?
What's this, sorry?
So in Fate of the Jedi, Vistara Kai is from the Lost Tribe of the Sith. And she and Ben Skywalker end up having a relationship, I guess you could say, going out, I guess you could say. Okay. And she tries to become a Jedi, not a Sith, but still can't do that because she's raised Sith, born Sith. Their culture is particularly Sith, and they were sheltered, so that's all they knew and stuff like that. And she ends up betraying Ben, betraying Luke, betraying the souls by trying to kill Alana. Okay. And then Jaina, the Sword of the Jedi, confronts her and she gets away. And then Ben Skywalker finds out about her and the betrayal and stuff like that. So, and that's the end of that. And we don't know who Ben Skywalker gets with afterwards. And there's maybe some like there needs to be business between them that needs to be closed up within the lore, and it never was because of the buyout. Yeah. But I don't think she is because of the level of betrayal and stuff like that. So once you read that, I want to hear your answer. Once you get there, I want to hear your answer on that.
Oh, so he thinks that she is Cade's ancestor.
With Ben Skywalker. So I said, Vistar is not. And he's like, no. And well, when you explain it that way, OG, she sounds horrible. Well, she is. She was trying. She literally betrayed the Skywalkers in Solo and almost killed Jason Solo's and Tenno Call's daughter.
I mean, Cade might be out for himself, but he doesn't like betray his friends. I don't think he has that in him.
Yeah. Oh my God. And that's a debate that needs to come up one day on my channel, because that would be fun to talk about. It's like, we're only going to talk in what ifs now, because under Disney, the EU's never come back. And even Matt Wilkins confirmed that through an email that he sent the company sent back a no, like, no, we're not going to do any more of that. Yeah. So what did you, when you first started getting into Legacy and started getting into the story of Cade Skywalker, what was your first impression with him?
Yeah, I didn't really like him at first. And I think that was the idea.
Yeah. Like, what made you not like him? Like, what did you notice, and then what changed your mind?
It was just, I mean, he had that kind of like obnoxious aspect to him, and I like when my Skywalkers are nice people, you know, when they're heroic. And
Yeah.
he wasn't very heroic, and it took me a while to kind of understand what they were doing with his character.
Yeah. Yeah, it's he can come off as pretty selfish, and it like I said, it's the way that they designed his character, because he suffered great loss, and they're expecting a Skywalker to come out of it like in a very honorable manner, and he's like, that's not him, and he's like, I'm done with this galaxy depending on me and the Jedi, me being a Jedi and this legacy, and and this is where you have even Anakin coming in as Vader to set him straight. Mara Jade, during a time when he's all high on drugs, coming in.
Yeah.
And so he's hallucinating her. And then
and
also
the thing that grabbed me was like the artwork, and that kind of held on to my attention. And then also all the little bits of continuity that were in there, back to like the Vong, like it shows a lot of like Yuuzhan Vong biotech and stuff like that. It was really cool to like visualize that stuff.
Yeah.
And so that kind of like grabbed my attention until I kind of got used to Cade, and then I saw his character starting to like evolve, and I just got hooked.
Yeah. And here we got another troll from my mod. Cade Skywalker coming to live action Starfight. You heard about that, right?
Oh, the Den of Nerds told me that.
Yeah, that was something crazy or whatever. I'm like, no. Yeah. So with Cade and with that story, and everybody's involved, what'd you think about like with Delilah Blue, like his girlfriend or whatever they are to each other?
I felt bad for her because he betrayed. Well, I mean, I said he didn't betray his friends, but he kind of cheated on her with Talon, didn't he? But he did it. He did it to get deeper into like the Sith temple and stuff like that. So, but I like. Well, I that's what he said. And then towards the end of the story, I liked how their relationship it was kind of like true love in the end, and he rescued her and stuff like that.
Yeah, like because Cade almost killed her and the rest of them. Remember?
That's right.
With the seeds and or the spores, and and he ended up doing or learning or having the gift that Anakin Skywalker always wanted, to save someone from dying.
Exactly. Yeah. And say that again. Sorry.
What did you think about that arc?
It's like what George talks about, is these mirrors, and these writers really understand that, and they utilize it in the best way possible. It's amazing. And then like you say, like he kind of didn't appreciate her throughout the whole story. He didn't treat her right, and then it was kind of like a minor aspect to his character. Like there's all this other stuff going on that he's dealing with, but it's just another payoff to see him like do the right thing in regards to her as well. It was just good writing, masterclass.
What do you think about Marasiah?
Marasiah she's the daughter of Fel, isn't she? She's the princess. Yeah, I liked her character.
Yeah,
I quite liked what's the Imperial Knight that's involved with her?
Oh, I forgot his name. I don't have that information.
Is it not Draco? It's like something like it's a.
I'm in the chat rescue because I can't think of his name right now, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I really like. So like, I mean, her character was cool, but through her, discovering like the Imperial Knights and what they're all about, I thought they were a really cool introduction to a really cool addition, should I say, to the lore.
Yeah, and Terrace Draco. So that you got the last name. I was thinking of like something with an A, like Ant something. So we
I got it right, Draco. Nice.
Remember that, and the thing is, and I know you probably piece the things together, or maybe not, but that Jaina, Solo, and Jagged Fel end up marrying, right?
Yeah, I kind of assumed that was like his lineage.
Yeah, so that's basically her, and you could see similarities between her features and a little bit of Jaina if you look at the pictures and stuff like that. And then she has the classic like graying of the hair like Jagged Fell had from his scar. So just a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah.
of continuity stuff here going on, just to tie back the origins.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. Like, I think Legacy does what Disney should have done. Like, it went way in the future, told its own story, but still had these little callbacks, and then you can kind of connect the dots yourself. You know,
Yeah.
it's genius.
And once the one Sith were revealed with Asherad Het, how did that make you feel? Like, were you getting more excited about expanding more on his story since you read it in Kenobi?
It was I mean, it was kind of cool to see all these like Sith apprentices. They were kind of like his little henchmen, and they all looked like Darth Maul. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But then to see how quickly Crate is kind of taken out of the story as well was a surprise. So like, you've got this new sect of the Sith, but they're still out for power for themselves in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a really good way to evolve the story as well.
Yeah, because you see, like, if you look at Sith history throughout the timeline, that it's historical timeline of Star Wars, you can see no matter which way they went, and I think the truest form that helped the Sith was the Rule of Two. But you know, before the Rule of Two, you had the Brotherhood of Darkness. You had all these different sects of the Sith that basically it was all about themselves, killing each other because they wanted the power and stuff. So if they had a ruler of some sort, then they would get killed, and whoever killed them would step up and kind of stuff like that. And then so we have the Rule of Two that was born, and then after Palpatine, that started falling apart. Jason Solo may have been the last, maybe, of that. But then you have Kate or Darth Krayt or Asherad Het, who basically, just like Kate Skywalker, got tortured by Vergere and captured.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Yeah.
And she has this other master plan going on, and he basically ended up getting free, and through a lot of other different scenarios, started forming the one Sith, which also is hinted in and shown a little bit in the Fate of the Jedi series.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, the cool thing for me with Vergere was I was reading Legacy at the same time I was listening to the audiobook for Agents of Chaos. So that's when Vergere got introduced. And then so I kind of already had this idea of her character before it was unveiled, kind of thing. So, and I know that happens a lot late. Is it Legacy of the Force, where you start to learn a bit more about her maybe not being like light side, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
But she was really the artwork for her is really creepy in Legacy.
Oh yeah, it is.
It's cool though.
Yeah, thoughts on the past Sith disowning Crate, calling him a pretender. So there's a lot of like ancient. Yeah. So go ahead and you want to answer that? What's your thoughts about that?
I remember this. I don't remember why I don't remember the context of why they called him that, but I do remember the scene, and it's like is it a holocron that he's using, and it's all the Sith from the past kind of belittling him and stuff like that. Yeah, like cool visual stuff. Like this comic series gets called like Too Edgy, but I just think it's awesome. It's really cool.
Oh yeah, it is. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, I can't quite remember the context of that, but I do remember what he's talking about.
Yeah, they frowned upon. They all frowned on him on the way he went with the Sith and stuff like that.
Oh, that's right, for changing. Yeah, okay, I got you.
For changing everything and all of that. Yeah, and and then I made a video on this, but basically it's the Tenebrous story and his vision of the one Sith, and so I did make a video clip of this, and he does foresee Crate in the direction the Sith are going and stuff like that. So that's very good. Yeah.
A cool detail with Crate is his eye. He's got like the Vong eye, kind of like Nominor.
Yeah.
I thought that, like, well, Legacy does little details like that, which I really appreciate.
Yeah. And when you get to a chance to read like visual material as well, like, comics and get the story, like
Yes.
we read with our eyes, we eat with our eyes. What we see visually, in a sense, will give us a greater understanding of the story. And so when you have a comic, and well, maybe I'm being, I don't know, but a comic is somewhere in between the actual like show and a written story, because you got the visuals that you're flipping through and you have the words that you're reading. And sometimes there is a written, a non-written like panels where you still know what's going on in the story for a comic, and if it's done really, really well. And the one thing about George Lucas is he put that on screen very well. Like he had silent times, and then you have the score, and you knew what was going on. You knew the contemplation. You knew what was going on. Like another one that comes to mind was, and I forgot the name of the scene, but it's where it's in Revenge of the Sith, where Anakin is waiting up there in the council room, and then Padme's back at her apartment, and you have that song, their song playing, and you could tell that there's contemplation on which way they want to go.
Reminisctions or something it's called?
Something like that. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Ruminations, that's it.
Yeah, ruminations, yes.
Yeah,
and so
that's
that's
a beautiful
one
scene.
example. And another one is the binary sunsets.
Mm-hmm.
So those quiet moments too as well. George did exceptionally well.
Well, he's a visual guy, and you get people saying that he didn't read this stuff. Well, he loved reading the comics, so.
Exactly. Darth Bane trilogy is amazing. I have them on my shelf. Would you have read a Darth Zana trilogy? So you go ahead and answer this one. If they had a Darth Zana trilogy, would you have read
That's the next trilogy I want. I've been asking Lil Gina to get it for me. So.
Oh, the Darth Bane trilogy?
The Darth Bane trilogy, yeah.
And if they had if the Darth Zana trilogy came out, they'd probably be on your list too then.
Yeah, I'm excited to read those ones. They're up high on my list. So
yeah. Padme's rumination. There you go. Yes. All right, and Zagara is here. How are you doing? Now we have the non-binary sunset, and the thumbnail to this Talking EU is Kate Skywalker with the twin sons, and so I thought that was very a very great image to use, because he's a Skywalker. The Skywalkers predominantly have Tatooine as part of their history.
Yeah.
Maybe not him, but it's like his ancestors, and I believe that's when he went to Tatooine. So there's a story with that. And if you look at the visuals in those comics, and then you then look at the visuals that were in like the PT and the OT, like when he's visiting on Tatooine and he's in the Lars homestead and stuff like that, and he's sitting inside the utility room that they have and stuff, like Jan Ostrander did so well on matching the images on how they looked in the PT and the OT.
Yeah, so, and you can feel the history that comes with it as well. It's awesome.
Exactly. All right. Now we're going to get into other things. Do you have a favorite ship? Like a starfighter? Yeah.
I really like I've got an example here. I'll grab it.
Okay. Ooh, I love show and tells.
I really like Anakin's Jedi fighter from Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, look at that.
I can't remember. Is it an Arca?
That's in there, huh?
Is it an Arca 2 or something it's called? I can't remember the model, but it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's my favorite ship.
Yeah. Wow, look at that, you guys. He's like, I got show and tell here.
And I've got my Millennium Falcon up there. Obviously, that's up there.
Mm-hmm. And then we're going to close here. So we're going to start closing out. What is your favorite era of Star Wars? So so there's there's like the Dawn of the Jedi, or was it Dawn of the Jedi or whatever it's called? The Old Republic era. Then you have the Old Republic. Then the PT era winds down the Old Republic era. Then you have the Dark Times. So that's in between the OT and the PT era. Then you have the classical or OT era. Then you have the New Republic era. And then you have the New Jedi Order era, and then you have Legacy era. What is your favorite era, if you can narrow it down?
It's difficult because the OT is my favorite trilogy, Legacy is my favorite comics, but like I really love the time just before the Phantom Menace. Like you've got Plagueis, Cloak of Deception, Shadowhunter coming into I love that time, like the calm before the storm kind of thing, where things are starting to build up, and Jedi in their prime kind of time. Yeah, I love that era of Star Wars.
Okay.
And then going into the prequel trilogy.
Oh, okay. Kind of get an idea, a glimpse of what the Jedi and their prime could be, and how their story was set up. Yeah, getting that, and I think
it's all just torn away, and then you go into your dark times and your original trilogy era. So it's all so good. It's hard.
I know. It's a historical timeline and stuff, and you know, and I know you're reading through the New Jedi Order, so you know you're like not even halfway through yet.
Yeah.
So 19 books. How can you do it? How can you read?
I know it's too much Star Wars. But then now you're bringing that up, and I'm thinking New Jedi Order might be my favorite. You know, it's
hard to decide. It is. I would say for myself, Legacy, the New Jedi Order. But then sometimes that switches around. Sometimes that switches around. But right now I'm reading the New Jedi Order. So,
What makes Legacy your favorite?
What makes Legacy my favorite is the direction everything goes with the Skywalkers.
Yeah.
With Cade, or Darth Caedus, and Luke's Jedi, and then the second time, or the attempt to purge of them by the Mandalorians through Natasha Dalla when she's put in as one of the leaders of the Galactic Empire, and what's going on with that, and you know, now having a new threat of the one Sith, you know, planet that was never really they were so secluded, they didn't have like the technology to leave the planet and stuff like that until they did. And there's a story behind that, so I'm not going to give a lot over to you on what's going on with that. And then the setup of Jaina, Jagged, and Ben Skywalker for them to be for their descendants to be set up in Legacy.
Awesome.
You know, so, yeah, and then you have like Tenno Ka and her daughter Alana, and what happens and how the Solos gain custody of her, and she's in you know, protection, identity protection, I guess you could say, and stuff like that. There's so much going on in there, but I think the New Jedi Order sets it up really, really well.
Yeah.
That, you know, so, but there's some people that won't agree with me on that. Oh no, the, you know, Dennyverse people will not.
The EU ends with the unifying force, obviously. It's the end.
Yeah, that's it. Unifying force. Lucino just had it in his mind. It was going to end there. I love Lucino. I love what he contributed to, but I think that was this shallow-minded thing, thinking that he had control of when the EU was going to end.
Yeah.
When he obviously didn't. You know, he has no say in that. And who even says that they don't have...
His best books came out after that. I mean, I've not read that one yet, but, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So there's a lot of that tie-in, but however, there's like the Old Republic, there's, you know, like I said, the PT era, there's a lot of eras that has a lot of good books to read in there, and you know, they're different from each other because it's an evolution of history.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, it's hard to decide, but I think I'm more or less towards Legacy and New Jedi Order era. So
yeah, it's good because it's kind of like your OT characters, but taking them forward in a different setting. So it's new, similar but new. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're in the next generation. So
yeah.
Now, is there anything else you want to add or share with us before we start closing up?
No, I mean, I've had a really good time. Thank you so much for having me.
Mm-hmm. And what is your next planned reading that you want to do for the channel, your channel?
Oh, I don't have a book planned yet. I feel it's a big investment once you start one because you have to finish it. So people want me to do Mall Lockdown. I might give a Mall story a miss, and I kind of want to go to maybe a Bantam era novel. Do something like that. But in my personal reading, I'm restarting the Revenge of the Sith novel because I'd only got a few chapters in before I got sidelined to something else. So.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm trying not to take too many notes. I just want to read it and take it in and enjoy it. So
Yeah, on that stop and right or whatever kind of deal. Yeah, but I think that Stover has put that novel together so well that the movie, I consider a movie and an EU novel, so it's like both. But I consider all the movie novels part of the EU, because it's all Star Wars, right? It's all Star Wars. But he does
Star Wars.
exactly, and he does that novel so well. I think that even if you don't take notes, it's gonna still you're still gonna remember what's going on, important events and stuff, and what really hits you on the mark with some of the storyline that's going on in there.
Yeah, I like how the chapters are kind of divided. You've got like Obi-Wan and Anakin, but then it'll tell you Obi-Wan's POV and then Anakin's POV, and then it'll go into a chapter about Dooku and then so on. You know, it's really cool. It's really well done.
Yeah, and then you got to go on to Dark Lord, Rise of Darth Vader.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's a good one because you get the perspective of Darth Vader as Anakin and the suit and all this other stuff. So yeah, very good writing between Lucino and because Lucino and Stover make up the Dark Lord trilogy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So they have this great collaboration with George and together for that. And I think it's a wonderful trilogy to read if you have a chance to. So, all right. So anything else that's going on your channel you want to share before we start closing out?
No, I mean, we just did we concluded Shadowhunter with the Phantom Menace watch along. That was a lot of fun. You can go back and catch the replay. Liquid Blake says that George is going to put it on the DVD version with Puppet Yoda as a commentary. So there's that. And then I'm still planning to do the Legacy reviews of the artwork in Legacy comics. And then I'll pick another novel to read through with you guys on streams, and I'll keep putting out videos about like the history of the franchise and the novels and stuff like that. So yeah.
And any news on your move, so we know when you're going to go a little bit silent on your channel until you're done.
So I've got Lil Jana's actually coming back to Scotland on Friday. So she's been away for a couple of months, so it'll be good to have her back, and then we will be quite busy. And then it's looking, I'm hoping I get approved in December this year, and then it'll probably be February, March next year that I get to actually come to the States and live there. So
okay, all right.
Yeah, that's the best case scenario.
Yeah. So we know what's going on with your channel and stuff like that. Is still continue to give us some EU and even anti-Disney content when you can. And so we're hoping that everything goes smoothly with your citizenship and all of that you need to have cleared to move back this way to the States. And thank you again for this interview and still also helping, contributing, and sharing about the George Lucas era of Star Wars. And it's been glorious for myself to see you discover these new books and discover the EU, especially the New Jedi Order, when you read through it and stuff, because it's like I'm a little bit envious because I remember reading it the first time myself, like every book, and it was so exciting. It was so exciting. So kind of like living vicariously through you again, experiencing the New Jedi Order and also the EU in itself. Yeah, so thank you so much. And for those in the chat, those who've been watching, we almost have like 90 people watching here on YouTube and Twitter. Thank you guys for hanging out with us as well. Stay tuned for hopefully announcements of 2 more Talking EU interviews coming up in November. I'll have that set up and let you guys know the dates and the times. And I look forward to having more of these with other people to get to know the individuals and how they got into Star Wars, particularly the EU. And as always, may the Force be with you, and we shall talk with you later.
Another happy landing.